Well, welcome back to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. Today I want to talk about pump systems for a septic field that is on a hill. What's involved? Now, as far as costs, I haven't got the final cost yet because it's not done, but I can kind of show you what's involved in the process. And so what we'll do is we'll begin with the connections. When I plumbed the house, obviously I stuck a piece of pipe out through here, and they have teed into it. That is the clean out, and you'll notice that is a Y. It goes both ways, so I can clean back and I can clean forward. Not that cleaning back is going to help me much because it goes up the wall and along the wall that way on the inside, but that is the standard fitting that goes there with the clean out, and you can kind of get a close-up of that. That's what that looks like. That's what's required, and it just comes up above the grade line, which is right here. So they can unscrew this when this is all filled in, and we can snake this line. Now this line is running probably somewhere in the vicinity of 30 feet or more over to the tank, because I've got 20, 30, yeah, probably 40 to 40, somewhere between 40 and 45. This is probably close to 12 feet or more, and then this is a 20-foot length, and then it's teed in again with another 12. So it's got a pretty good length to it, but it is 1/8 per foot. They put it in with a transit. Everything has got that low, slow moving, and so the water will push everything along. And then we come into our main tank. This is the main tank for the sewage, the waste, and we had to put it kind of in the side of the bank here. So when we backfill this, it's going to be backfilled over and then across. So that's the clean out. That tank is in there level, and then we step over a bit and we come to the pump tank, which is another, I think these are 1,500, 1,000 gallon, I think they're 1,000-gallon tanks. So if you're talking to somebody and they're giving you a price on a pump system, they said, oh yeah, we'll just put the one tank in. They don't know what they're talking about. You need, at least here in Tennessee, you need 2 tanks. And so that second tank is what is holding your liquids, and anything that comes off I'll just come around here. Anything as this tank fills, the solids stay here, the liquids go over and drop into that tank, and as that tank fills with liquids, there's a pump. Now that pump has this is all bolt, they've got it all screwed down, so I'm not going to open it, but it's got a pump system that drops down into the tank with a foot valve, because the line coming out of it and heading up the hill, they've got partial of buried here, is actually under pressure, like it's being pushed. So, and I'll pick this up in a minute. Now on this end there is the electrical, and so all the wires, there's an alarm system, as well as the wires for the pump come out here up into this elbow, and then all that is that elbow it's got a little notch right there at the cap. Those wires come out. One goes into, I think that one there is feeding the alarm system, and the 2 wires come up into a secure waterproof box, and all they are is, see if I can get this open. There we go. You can see there, just a GFI plug, and they are plugged in. Sorry. And then the wires are fed back through over to the house, and I'll go over and show you that. And we've got it in conduit, so we just ran the lines, individual wires out here, 12-2, plus the pump alarm wires, which are lower gauge. And then here they require the post to be cemented in, so I mix up some concrete, put a good big wheelbarrow load of concrete around it, hold everything in place. And then I won't show you the stuff on the inside, but the inside, well, I guess I could. And then this comes into here, and I just drilled through, and we brought everything up to that LB and then into the house. So that brings us to the actual field itself. So you've got, you got quite a bit of working parts here, other than just, if you're on a gravity feed, you just come out, gravity feed to your tank, and then the tank has a distribution field below it on the lower side downhill. Mine, the only place it would perk is up on a hill. Hence the reason why these tanks and the pump system, which obviously adds cost to your system. And so let's go up here on the hill. They're not complete, but they've got about a quarter or more of the lines in. They've been working away on it. It's not flat, so they're working on a side hill here. So you can see here, there is the pressurized 2-inch line. In other words, that's what's going to be running the liquid sewage, the gray water, up the hill here. Now I had clear cut a lot of this if you follow my videos for the last 4 years. This was all area that I clear cut, with the exception of a few trees. Took all the big trees out, and so they've got pretty good rain of it here. Some of my concern was the roots killing my trees and then them falling, but they've done a fairly good job of getting around a lot of this. And so we are up almost to the top of my property line up here, and this is the distribution box. So this pipe is going to come in and start filling that distribution box. When that distribution box gets full, it starts running down the 3-inch line, or the 4-inch line, sorry. And this 4-inch line is running down into the field lines. So let's have a look at that. So for me, this was, goodness, about 300 feet of line. So that pump has got to push up this hill. I hope it has the wherewithal to do it. Apparently they do this every day. That's what the alarm is for. There's an alarm system on this. If the pump fails or there's some problem, then the alarm will go off and let you know. Now, come around the other side. Here are the field lines. Now they're using the infiltrator system. It's called an infiltrator system. It's you can kind of see it here. It's a dome. Just a simple dome, plastic, heavy plastic, and places where you can join into it. They lock over and clip to the next one. and that gives you what, 12 inches, or I haven't got my measuring tape across, plus that full dome. That will take a lot of water. Originally we were talking about doing a 10-inch pipe system with gravel, but apparently they felt this was just as effective. And so you can see here that first from the distribution tank up on the hill is coming down and dumping into the middle of this. So now this is going to run, be able to fill up. So that's 50 feet. You step down the hill, and we got another 50 feet, and they're keeping it on the grade, on level. And so that's coming around, and what they'll do is there'll be a crossover dumping into that one, I'm assuming, the way that works. And so these systems are geared to do this very thing, apparently. So I'm told. So I am trusting that, excuse me, there's going to be enough in the as far as be able to control the water that we use. And this, obviously the ground is absorbing it. Even though this isn't the best of ground, I'm going to have close to 400 feet of that. So they're going to just keep stepping down around my perk holes and doing lines. And like I said, I've got to have, I think it's 380 feet is what they are doing, and they've got 100 in. So the next thing is, we'll just step down here and I'll show you the alarm system, end out the video. Sorry, I've been doing the same thing I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I just finished up this afternoon putting doing the rough wiring of the rest of the house. So the house is now pretty well roughed in as far as the wiring. There's only a couple things like the AC units and the range and stove when we do the upstairs kitchen eventually. But the house itself, all the rooms are wired. All right. So obviously we picked up, that's that red tape, that's the 12-2 line that's running over here. And what we have someone left their knife here. Oh, that's Mikey. My friends or not? Sitting up there. Probably one of the HVAC guys. And so what we have is the power coming into that box through the wall, and the main, it's being fed by that yellow 12-2 line, and then the separate 14-2 line is what's running the alarm. They can't be on the same circuit. So, for example, if the breaker kicks on the main pump, that's a separate circuit, so the alarm will sound. And that's what this is. I'm assuming it's both light and that red light flashes, and plus I'm assuming it whistles or has some type of an alarm sound. Don't want to hear it, but that is what that looks like. So the last thing while I'm doing this video that I'll show is we've also had the HVAC guy here. And you can see there, he has got the main trunk lines in and several of the main runs for this downstairs. I wanted to get it in before we moved in, so they're not down here cutting and whatnot with everything in place. And so now I can finish my countertop down here, and it's where the sink and dishwasher's going. So that is done. You can see there that we decided to use round ductwork. And finish out this here. We dropped down through, that's from the upstairs, so this is where the main unit's going to set. and then the ductwork has been sized down across and is picking up pipes, so this is running the 2 floors. So we put a couple vents down here, one in each room. Gonna have a couple out there to climate control the basement. Doesn't need a lot, but gonna do that. But this is now allowing me pretty much to finish up everything I needed to do before we do the final cleaning and move in. Now, one last thing. Turn off some lights here. And so the last thing is this unit here, this ductwork. This is what was holding me up from finishing the vanity. So now we have the cold air return. That's the one that drops down. I just showed you. It's going to pick up the cold air from this floor in this area. And I've just put a piece of cardboard over it so kids wouldn't fall down it. But that's a 20 by 20 opening. And so we're going to have another 20 by 20 or another 12 by 12 opening in the basement as well to give it feed. So that is what has been going on here on the homestead, as I call it. We have been doing a lot of work with the trades, the other trades. The last week, 2 or 3 of those days, this yard was full of cars. And at one point we had 12 plus guys working here. So, I mean, it moves along, but there's still a long ways to go. But we're getting there. And so, wanted to bring you along for that pump system and what it looks like. Next thing is I'm going to call for the inspection on the electrical. They got to do that before they can get the approval on the main system. So hopefully that's going to happen next week. So, till next time. As always, appreciate you joining with me. We are going to, now that I'm back, hopefully first of the week, that I'm back doing some cabinetry and whatnot. Try to do a little bit of that, show that, but I'm going to start doing those last two cabinets before we move in. So stick with me, more to come. Until next time, as always, you have a great day.